Tales from the jails. I'm going to talk today a little bit about the prison hulk that they're putting in Portland Harbour. And they haven't managed to get it there into function yet because they're saying that it's a potential death trap. They're saying it may be turn out like that block of flats that caught fire in London. And I think that it may burn down, and everybody's saying, oh no, it's not, it's all right, it's been used by workmen and all this and the other. But that's no good, is it? They need something that's secure, don't they? Some proper accommodation. I mean, when I was in the army, we had barrack blocks, wooden barrack blocks. You know, they were made out of wood, and there was, I think it was about 16 or 20 of us in this one room, and one or two of them did catch fire over the years, but not when I was there. But that's what we got when we were young soldiers. And when I was stuck in the desert in Libya in 1969, when Colonel Gaddafi took over with his revolutionary army, I was in the military there. And we were stuck in the middle of the desert. And all we had was tents and slept on the sand. And we had, blankets, and that was it. You know, you made the best of it. We survived. You know, and I was in the military. I was a British citizen. The people that we're going to be putting up, you know, these are not British citizens. These are people that have found their way into the country and are coming here not because they're being persecuted in their homelands, but because they are migrants. You know, they're financial migrants. They want a better life. Well, I wanted a better life when I was 18, 19, and I was in the army. I got what was given to me. I didn't complain. I got along with it. And the prisons, I mean, the people that we've got in the prisons, they're there because they've committed offences. And I see today that they're saying people are no longer going to be prosecuted for their first offences. They're going to be cautioned by the police. Well, imagine being cautioned by the police. Yeah, what does that mean? Don't do it again, you naughty boy. Now go away and don't do it again. I'll tell you something. Shoplifting, the police don't attend anymore. Don't attend. Phone them up. Sorry, we haven't got any men for that. I'll tell you a little story here. My brother had a friend. Somebody was broken into his house, yeah. And he got home, be about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. He knew there was somebody in the house because he could hear him upstairs rattling round. So he phoned the police up and said, there's somebody broken into my house, they're upstairs. The police said, oh, we can't send anybody around, we haven't got any men. He said, that's all right, just a minute. And he just held the phone a little bit away from his mouth and he shouted, when you come down these stairs, I'm going to shoot you, you bastard. Within 10 minutes, there was about 15 policemen there, squad cars, all the lot. They came up to him and said, right, where's your gun? He said, I haven't got a gun. He said, we heard you on the phone shouting that you were going to shoot him. He said, well, I haven't got a gun. They said, well, why did you tell us that you had got a gun? He said, well, you told me you hadn't got any policemen. Hey, what about that? It's a strange world, isn't it? But people expect so much these days. As I say, I said before, in the prisons now, they're giving them guitars, they're giving them Xboxes, they're giving them computers, giving them televisions, giving them radios. What they want is a case of appeasement, isn't it? And of course, they've got the choice of hostesses to pick from. You know, there's numerous of them, because then they all lock them up, don't they? I mean, where are they going to put all these people in the end? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're building, I believe it's another 20,000 prison places. But who are they going to put into these prisons? They'll find them, of course. They've got to find people to put in prison, haven't they? Well, the prisons are there not to protect society from villains, but to protect the government from society. That's the reason. Look what they've just done with alcohol. They put alcohol up by, 10%? Yeah, it amounts to about that, doesn't it? Why? Why have they done that? Whose benefit is that? Only for the government. It's not going to stop me drinking, is it? I mean, I don't drink in the week, by the way, never. Well, I have a little glass at the weekend, but now it's going to cost me a lot more. So I'm paying, 40% on my income tax, paying 20% on the VAT, and now they've put the booze up. That's much worse. So out of £1, I'm getting 30 pence to spend, to look after myself and my wife and to cater for my Jack Daniels habit. And where does it all end? Where does it end? Well, it ends with us having hulks. And they're not talking about one hulk here, folks. That's a ship, a floating prison, It's got about 500 units on it for inmates. They're going to put a load of these all over the country because they don't want to pay for illegal migrants to be in hotels, and quite rightly they shouldn't be in hotels. What's wrong with tents and wooden huts like I had when I was a young man, a volunteer in the British Army? That's what I got. I mean, don't forget, that was luxury. I mean, there were times when I was out on exercise when we slept either in the back of a truck or under the bushes, or we just wrapped a tent round us because you didn't have time. You were on NATO exercises. I'll tell you a little story about that. I was on a NATO exercise and we had a member of the French military, Captain Pierre, somebody or other, was with us. And the major said to me, he said, 3 a.m. we are moving out. Do not wake him up. So, as quietly as we could, we packed all our gear at 3 a.m. in the morning and left. And the captain from the French army was left in the middle of middle of the ranges, in a tent, fast asleep. So when he woke up in the morning, we'd all been gone, eh? The British Army didn't like the French. Well, that's what the major didn't like, the French. Anyway, so accommodation, where do we go from here? The old Victorian jails, they're going to have to knock them down eventually, aren't they? I believe Strangeways is going to be demolished and the buildings are called Operation Vulcan or something. All Cheetah Mill's going to get smashed down. It's a bit old, it's like early Victorian, mid-Victorian, most of the Cheetah Mill area. They're going to knock it down and rebuild it as part of the revamping of Manchester. Have you seen it lately? It looks like Las Vegas or bloody New York or something. It's all towers, isn't it? Anyway, tales from the jails. Somebody keeps putting up notifications about me saying I'm infatuated with a certain individual's backside. I'm not, believe me. That's the song dinger, by the way. I'm not going to sing to you. Oh yeah, I will sing to you. Why not? I've rung the song dinger. If you're still around now, you know what to expect. This is Kenny Rogers. Some people say I look a bit like Kenny Rogers. I hope I don't. He's been dead about 10 years. Anyway, this is Kenny Rogers, the Gambler. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns at a staring out the window at the darkness, and our boredom overtook us, and we began to speak. He said, "Son, I made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind me saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You gotta know when to hold 'em, and know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Every gambler knows the secret to surviving. It's knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best you can hope for is to die there in your sleep. And when he'd finished speaking, he turned back towards the window, crushed out his cigarette, and faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even, but in his final words I found an ace that I could keep. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. There you go. The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. As finished off by me. I reckon he cashed his chips in, don't you? Tales from the Jails, folks, with John G. Sutton. Don't forget to get my book, like and subscribe, all the rest of it.